I went to sleep and they were doing the surgery, and I learned afterwards that I had died 3 times on the operating table. And I had such a I felt so good. I felt this peace, like God had put me in his hands and rocked me like I was a baby. Hello, my name is Deedra Hanekamp, and I'm going to tell you my testimony today. When I was first married to my first husband, I found myself pregnant, and I woke up one morning during the pregnancy and fell over and couldn't walk. I had developed spastic paralysis. They were confused at what was going on and sent me for an MRI and discovered a spinal tumor. From there, I was rushed to the emergency room. I had wanted a child for a very long time, and I knew I was having a little girl. I had prayed, all I ever wanted to be was a mother, and I had prayed for her, and I already had a name for her. And as I was laying there in the ER, the doctor came in and was giving me options, and he felt like I was being unreasonable because he said we could terminate the pregnancy and then remove the tumor, or we could go ahead and remove the tumor and not give any thought to the child's life, do what's best for me. And I said, no, we just passed a preemie ward. I want you to save my daughter. If you can't save me, save her. And I was making a passionate plea and begging for her life when 2 other doctors came in, that one of which had treated me previously. He was a neurosurgeon, and thank God he spoke up and he said, I'm her doctor. And if this is what she wants, is to wait, we can wait and have the baby early, and then we can do the surgery. And he made it clear to me that the spastic paralysis might not go away, and that the only other person he'd operated on, she had died. And as he told me to start counting back from 100, and they were putting me, under to start the surgery, I was like, 100. Lord, please give her the mother you'd have her to have. 99. If it's not me, send the right person. 98. And I don't remember anything from that point because, of course, I went to sleep and they were doing the surgery, and I learned afterwards that I had died 3 times on the operating table, that I had regurgitated the intubation tube once, and that my heart had stopped during that, and that my heart stopped when the tumor came out, and it started back briefly and stopped again as they were trying to get me sutured up. My experience, the next thing I remember, was waking up with the anesthesiologist looking at me, and she was asking me, what is your name? Do you know what today is? Do you know where you are? Because they had had a difficult time waking me up. And I had such a I felt so good. I felt this peace, like God had put me in his hands and rocked me like I was a baby. And she just looked at me and she's like, I can't understand how peaceful you are right now. I said, I feel like God has held me in his hands. And I had a long recovery from that point. I did have spastic paralysis. They sent me to a physical rehabilitation, and there the doctor was like, you're not being reasonable. You're going to be paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of your life. You need to learn to live in a wheelchair. And I kept saying, what you think and what God knows is 2 different things. I'm going to believe in faith that I'll have whatever life God gives me. He didn't let me live to leave me here like this. And I just kept saying, Lord, help me heal. I believe, help me receive, Lord. And I would lay and try to move my toes. And this went on for months and months after being released from the rehab. I would just lay and try to move my toes. And I would pray and say, God, I believe that I can receive this healing. Help me receive it. Whatever's blocking this, help me let go and just receive this healing. I need to walk for the sake of my child. And one day, I could move my toes, just barely, just a little. And I started crying and just praising God. And slowly, over the course of the next 3 years, I regained my ability to walk. Then I found out I was pregnant again with my second daughter. So I have 2 daughters from my first marriage. And I actually learned to walk while I was pregnant with her. And again, I prayed and I said, Lord, protect my baby, because I already knew with my health conditions going in for another pregnancy that they would again be like, your life has more value than your child's. This is They painted this picture of my health being so bad that it was a danger to be pregnant. And I said, I love this child. I want this child too. Save my baby. If my health deteriorates and you can't save me, save her. And I kept pressing forward, and I said, abortion is not an option. I want you to do what's best for my child. I want my baby. And thank God we were able to deliver her. And I have my 2 beautiful older daughters. And I thought, well, once that marriage fell apart and I went through some really trying times and I ended up being a disabled single mother, I thought, Lord, what is your plan for me? And I waited for 11 years, and I kept praying, and I kept saying, God, help me to just do what you'd have me do. One of my friends was in a car wreck, and she lost her baby. And I just felt drawn to go and be with her and help her. So my daughters and I would go to church with her, and then we'd go home and clean her home. And in the midst of her loss, the Lord brought my new husband into my life. And I thank God that He did it in His timing. That was a long time to be a single mom and to be alone. And it was hard, but I'm glad I waited. Because I learned that when you wait on God, He gives you the best. And now we have a child together. So I have 3 girls now. And my health is still... Every day, I'm like, Lord, I walk by faith. We've had some great improvement in my health, but at the same time, certain things have gotten worse. But every day, I say, God, I trust you. Sometimes I can't feel my legs. When I can't feel them, I say, Lord, I know they're there, and I trust you're going to help me walk. When it gets hard, when I'm in pain, I say, Lord, I know you will help me. And I just pray and I lean into Him. And I just thank God for the support He's given me and for the scriptures of comfort that people have sent to me that have just helped me continue. And I would tell mothers, your children are precious. Don't let someone pressure you into giving up the gift that God has given you. That life is precious. And sacrificing your child's life to try to better your own, it never works. You cannot have the joy that I have today from my 3 daughters sacrificing their lives. You would lose that joy. You would lose that moment. All of the best times during the hard, dark moments of my life is centered around my kids. The things we do together, the moments we've had together, the sweet innocence that they brought in, and the joy that they gave me when I couldn't laugh because things were so hard. They would do something and I'd find that laughter again, and I'd find joy. You will never be able to replace what they bring to your life. So don't let someone steal that from you. It is okay to say, fight for my child. There's preemie wards for a reason. And if doctors pressure you to do something that in your heart feels so wrong, don't be afraid to speak up and say, not just because of my faith, not just because God says children are precious, but because my heart says this child is mine and she's precious to me. I would have lost some of the most precious moments that I could have never experienced without my children had I stayed silent and let someone else do what they thought was right. And it wouldn't have been right for me. It wouldn't have been right in the eyes of God, but it also would have broke my heart. Because those children are a part of you, and they're meant to receive your love and to give you love. And even on the hard days as being a parent, you know what? It's worth every moment of it. Because He gives you something greater than yourself.